Hello students, about membrane transport, we are going to see certain components of membrane transport from prokaryotic metabolism paper. We are going to discuss about prokaryotic cell, cytoplasmic membrane, phospholipid bilayer, proteins found in membrane, types of movement, various type of transports and transporters, pumps, channels, and solute transport. First of all, let us see about prokaryotic cell structure. Prokaryotic cell structure is having plasma membrane and cell wall. The membrane is very important part in the bacterial cell, which involves in the transport of various type of solutes. The transport of solutes made the life of bacterial cell easy, and also possibly they are able to produce energy and cellular constituents out of these solutes. Cytoplasmic membrane is found around the cytoplasm and it defines the boundaries of the bacterial cell. It acts as a barrier and also it functions as highly discriminating curtain or conduit between cell and the environment. It is made up of phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipid bilayer is made up of this type of structure. Polar heads are there, which are definitely hydrophilic in nature, and non-polar hydrophobic tails are there. The heads are made up of phosphate group and glycerol, whereas in case of non-polar tails are made up of fatty acid chains. This is the structure of phospholipid where we can see the detailed structure of phospholipid unit. One single unit looks like a person who is having one leg bent and one straight. The bent leg shows the unsaturated fatty acid chain, whereas straight leg shows the saturated fatty acid chain. The head is made up of glycerol and phosphate group. This is the structure of cytoplasmic membrane in detail. We can see that so many different proteins are there and they are located asymmetrically in the cytoplasmic membrane. Integral proteins are there which are nicely embedded in the cytoplasmic membrane. Lipid bilayer is found which tells us that it is made up of bilayer in which tails are in the middle portion and heads are found on the outside part of the cytoplasmic membrane. Peripheral proteins are also there which are located vertically and also horizontally. Then comes different type of movements which takes place through the cytoplasmic membrane. So they are simple diffusion, osmosis, facilitated diffusion, and active transport. So first of all, we will try to understand what is simple diffusion. In case of simple diffusion, transport is done of different metabolites across the membrane along the concentration gradient and without the use of carrier molecule. This process is called simple diffusion. Then comes facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion is more or less like simple diffusion, and it does not require energy, and it also takes place along the concentration gradient. But it differs from simple diffusion in a way that it is stereospecific, and it shows saturation kinetics, and it requires carrier protein molecule for its process to happen. This is facilitated diffusion. Here we can see that chloride ions are passing through the channel protein, and that is with the help of carrier molecule or carrier protein molecule. Then comes active transport. Active transport takes place with the help of two different things. Very first is energy and another is carrier protein. Active transport takes place across the concentration gradient and it requires energy. It includes group translocation, membrane bound transport and binding protein transport. So different type of processes are categorized under active transport. Now first of all, we will try to see now transporter proteins. Transporter proteins are nothing but they are a specific type of proteins found in the cytoplasmic membrane which take active part during facilitated diffusion or active transport. For transport of different solute molecules, different type of proteins are available in the cytoplasmic membrane. They are distributed asymmetrically throughout the cytoplasmic membrane. Now, in case of permeability of membrane, there are certain solutes which can move freely, that is with a simple diffusion. For example, oxygen, carbon dioxide and nitrogen. These are the gases, and also urea and ethanol. They are nicely come and pass through the cytoplasmic membrane. They can go inside and go outside of the cytoplasmic membrane very easily without using energy or the carrier proteins, and it is always considered as simple diffusion. Then comes passive transport. The passive transport is the thing which happens across the membrane and it does not require input of metabolic energy. The rate of passive transport is proportional to the concentration gradient of the solute molecule across the membrane. So there are two types of passive transports, simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Now, how passive transport is different from one another, that is simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion is faster than the simple diffusion. Movement in facilitated diffusion is down the concentration gradient and no energy input is required and necessary energy is supplied by the gradient. The carrier is found in passive transport and specificity for structure of the transported substance is found in the specific carrier protein. It also follows saturation kinetics and it is having specific inhibition ability. This is passive transport where facilitated diffusion happens. First of all, carrier protein has binding site for a specific molecule we can see in the first figure. Then in the second one, molecule enters the binding site. And in third, carrier protein changes shape and transporting the molecule across the membrane. And in the last figure, we can see carrier protein resumes the original shape. Now about other type of transporters. So they are pumps, channels and transporters. Here we can see all of them together. In the first figure we can see that one particular molecule which is red in color is being transported with the expense of energy. ATP gets converted into ADP and PI, and at the same time the red colored molecule is transported outside of the cytoplasmic membrane. So that is called ATP powered pump. And then after, next figure is of ion channel. In the first figure we can see that ion channel is closed, and in the second one ion channel is opened, and we can see that red colored small balls are going outside, which are the example of solutes, and they can go through the opening of the ion channel whenever it is required. And the third figure is about transporter protein. Here we can see that transporter protein is ready to hold the solid molecule, and solid molecule can come inside and go outside through the cytoplasm with the help of this particular carrier molecule. As soon as it will hold a solid molecule, it will change its conformation, and then after it is having now the mouth which is holding the solid molecule exactly inside the cytoplasmic membrane. There it will release the solid molecule, and again it will come to its original shape. So that is about transporter proteins. So this is about the rough idea how they act during the membrane transport. Here we can see the three different type of transporter proteins which are involved in specific type of transports, and they are categorized into three categories: uniport, symport and antiport. In case of uniport, the transport of solid molecule is found to be of only one single solute species. Okay, so it is always unidirectional, and that is why it is called uniport. Uni means one. In case of second figure, we can see it is of symport. Sym means together. So this is coupled transport, and in which two different solute species are being transported inside the cytoplasmic membrane through the carrier protein at the same time. So that is called co-transport or coupled transport. Then after, the third part of transport is antiport. Anti means opposite. So here two different solid molecules are being transported through the carrier protein inside and outside the cytoplasmic membrane, but in the opposite direction. So that is called antiport. When one solid species is coming inside, at the same time the another is going from inside to outside. These are the examples of transporter proteins. Here we can see the example of glucose transporter. In the first figure, we can see that transporter protein is ready to catch the glucose molecule. First of all, glucose molecule will go and bind to the carrier protein, and then after, carrier protein will change its conformation. It will be closed from upper side of the cytoplasmic membrane, and now it will uh, change its shape, and because of that the glucose molecule will move from upper direction to the lower part of the cytoplasmic membrane. Then after, it will be already dropped down in the cytoplasmic membrane, and then again the transporter protein will get its original shape to hold the another glucose molecule. Okay, so this is about glucose transporter protein. This is the figure of active transport. Here we can see that one particular type of solid species is being transported from inside to outside of the cytoplasmic membrane. So how it is possible? Here we can see that at the expense of energy, this whole process is possible. First of all, ATP binding site is there and recognition site is there. So solid species which is transported by carrier protein, it will go to specific carrier protein, and the carrier protein will recognize that molecule, and it will allow the molecule to go inside the structure of the carrier protein, and at the same time ATP will also go and bind to the ATP binding site on the protein molecule, and then after ATP will be hydrolyzed and it will convert into ADP and PI, and because of this energy of ATP, the molecule will get transported by the carrier protein to the outside of the cytoplasmic membrane. Okay, so here active transport is narrated in a very nicely figurative manner. These are the different pumps we can see. Three different type of pumps are given: P class pump, F and V class pump, and ABC superfamily. In the first figure we can see that P class pump is having alpha and beta subunit. Beta subunit is having ATP binding region, and with the help of ATP, this particular pump is able to transport the solute inside and outside of the cytoplasmic membrane. Then comes F and V class pump. Here we can see that different subunits are there: alpha, beta, gamma, epsilon, A, B, and C. So it is made up of so many of the components. It is just like the rotor, and it is also having ATP binding region, and also it is having facility to transport the solid molecules. Then after ABC superfamily, it is also having 4 subunits which are able to transport the solid. Now solid is being transported by particular carrier which undergo conformational change. In the first figure we can see that solid molecule from the cytoplasmic membrane is going to the carrier protein, and as soon as it will touch the carrier protein will change its conformation, and then again it will release the solid molecule outside the cytoplasmic membrane. So this is called carrier mediated solute transport. These are the figures of uniport, symport, and antiport. Here we can see that in case of uniport, one single solid molecule is coming inside. In symport, A and B, two different type of solid species are coming inside, and in antiport, two different type of solid molecules, but in different directions are coming and going outside of the cytoplasmic membrane. There are various type of pumps found in the cytoplasmic membrane. Very first is P class ion pumps. They are called by the different names: sodium, potassium, ATPase, which are involved in the transport of sodium and potassium. Then hydrogen ion, potassium ATPase is also there, which is also transporting hydrogen ion and potassium ion outside the cytoplasmic membrane. So that is about membrane transport in brief. So let us hope that you have understood thoroughly whatever is being told to you.